What's up, Summoners? King Blair here. Today we're going to be taking a deeper dive to look at how the meta Season 3 arena is looking like. So it's been over a little bit over a week since the last big balance patch where honestly just Crimson Armin got nerfed. That was the biggest thing, and it's been about a week or two, so people have had their chance to trade in their units, trade in their Sage Balls. They don't feel like they can cut in as much. A lot of people are trading their Moonlight Armintias, and let's see what they went for and what the arena Season 3 is looking like. So let's just jump right into it. So first, I will be talking about what I believe the current meta is. So like what the two teams that most generally, like if you're trying to categorize them, these are the two sections that they will fall under, and then what specific units are just absolutely dominating and driving the meta at the moment. And then we'll talk about some of the spicier picks that you yourself can build to either counter the meta or be really competitive in the meta for both defense and for offense. So first, there are two categories, I would say, for a lot of these teams, and they mostly fall into offensive and defensive. I know y'all are going to be like, okay, of course, like, obviously you're going to have defensive offensive, but what do you mean? So what I mean by that is you typically will have more tankier units with one big damage dealer, or you'll have very aggressive team comps where they may have one reviver, just mostly arbiter, vildred, and then Moonlight Ken, and just having, or Seaside Bellona, and having that offensive factor, focusing more on taking you down rather than defending and stalling you out until they whittle your team down. So obviously the number one player, he falls in the offensive category. Basar, we'll talk about him later. But yes, that's what I mean by offensive. If you look at the number one guy right now, that's something that he's not trying to stall out. He does have the capabilities to defend himself with the Maid Chloe, but he also has that Basar and that Moonlight Armintia that I guarantee are stupid fast and are able to just lock you down and kill you off that way. And if you somehow are able to bring an AoE, you're going to get destroyed by Ken. If you don't bring a lilibet and you can't kill the Maid Chloe, you're just going to be hurting yourself. So it adds a lot of pressure. Another of the more offensive teams that I would talk about, we see the number 5 guy has a offensive team. Again, Basar, Moonlight Armintia, I feel like that combo is honestly insane, guys. It's like a not okay combo. It's actually really, really busted combo. And we'll talk about why that is. It's one of the buffs. But then we see the more defensive team comps that I would talk about. So the number 6 guy, he has the Corvus, the Queen Ceci. He does have that arbiter vildred, but why I categorize this more as defensive, like the arbiter vildred team comes, is because he's not trying to kill you outright. You most likely will get first turn. They're not trying to kill you before you get a chance to respond. They're more trying to have units that you can't take out in one turn, and then they have big combat capabilities. So the poking ability with the Seaside Bellona, and then the arbiter vildred, the revive. Number 6 is just your, again, stupid defensive with Dizzy. Guaranteed it's counterattack. Guaranteed it's 100% Lily Violin. Just trying to stall you out. And probably all stupid tanky. The 8th one, again, defensive. The 19th one, more defensive. And then the number 20, offensive. That's an offensive team comp. Bikin, Dizzy, I guarantee that's a fast Bikin. And the Charon. So you guys kind of get the idea. We kind of already started seeing some of the units that are being. I don't want to try to go through every single one, but you'll generally see where it's going towards. So it's either defensive with a lot of revivers or a lot of stallers like Crow and Moonlight Queen Ceci, and the occasional Crimson Armin. She's not as big anymore. They probably didn't have a Queen Ceci, Moonlight Queen Ceci to be able to put in there, so that's probably why they kept their Crimson Armin in there. Still a good character, just Moonlight Queen Ceci does a better job. But now, what are the units that are causing this to go in this direction? So, the biggest one, that's just almost everyone has them, whether you're running offensive or defensive, because you honestly can't fit in both, is going to be arbiter vildred. Arbiter vildred is honestly nuts right now. So let me just say the 3 that I want to talk about a little bit more in depth. It's going to be arbiter vildred, as you see him a lot, Rule of Light / Maid Chloe, and last but not least, the Basar, because this is something that it'll help you guys out a lot more, but it's just something that's insane. Oh, and Seaside Bellona, of course. I forgot. So 4. So Seaside Bellona, Arbiter vildred, Basar, and Ruele slash Maid Chloe. These are honestly the big hitters. Of course, there's the Moonlight Queen Ceci, but y'all know what she does. She's literally just there to shield. So let's just take a quick look at their skills, because guys, it's tough to get around, and they do have counters, but it's like Arbiter vildred. People were like, oh, Arbiter vildred, he got nerfed, whatever. No, people definitely. When I saw the nerf that they did to Arbiter vildred, I was like, he was already doing tons of damage without that attack buff. But basically, for you guys that didn't know, whenever you kill him, he comes back and gains a turn. There are very, and I mean very, few counters to this strategy. You have to have a lilibet. That's the plain and simple. That's the best way to counter him, is to have lilibet. But either A, not everyone has her. B, not everyone has his build. And C, even if you do manage to get a lilibet, ruin her up, have her OP, people are starting to build these Arbiter vildreds to like 10k HP with Moonlight Dreamblade. So when you go for extinction, you may not kill them because you might miss. And then you're screwed because you didn't kill them with the skill you're supposed to kill them with. Now he's able to just come back to life and kill your team. The other thing is, you're like, let me just help my lilibet set up. A lot of people are putting Moonlight Kens next to their Arbiter vildreds, and they're able to just protect them from the AoE poke, that it causes it to be just, even if you do get the lilibet, it's not guaranteed, because Moonlight Dreamblade, Moonlight Ken, so you can't do poke damage because you'll die to Moonlight Ken afterwards. And then there's the fact that you can't also single target attack him, because if you get that dual attack chance and you accidentally kill him, then you lose. So there's so many there's so much disruption to your game plan that it makes it so it's not a reliable way to counter him. There's no real reliable way. There's no 100% guaranteed to work way to counter him. Like with Sage Balance Sun, there was the Oxlots combos. He had more counters than Arbiter vildred, where you actually had 100%, and I put them in quotation marks, assuming you have all the best stats, because Moonlight Dreamblade is just such a good artifact on Arbiter vildred that it just makes it so the opponent can't kill him properly. The other unit is the Seaside Bellona. Again, I didn't think she was going to be this big, but honestly, it's just people are nuts the way they're building her. There's so many different ways, but the most successful way is the very tanky ones that still do some damage. So I've actually seen 20k plus HP Seaside Bellonas, and the big thing is everyone's trying to take her out, but she has a lot of survivability because she's able to A, share the damage, and B, she's able to put a lot of pressure on your team. And usually people run her with like Moonlight Cecilia and Crow and things, and anything that can help mitigate damage. But the biggest thing is, honestly, this second skill is the best skill in her kit. Being able to, every time you do 5 actions, including dual attacks, so that includes in the actions, you're getting defense broken, and you're just getting destroyed. Even if it's small damage, like 2,000, 3,000, if you have a tankier one, the fact that they can't kill her outright, they're just going to be taking so much overtime damage as they try to kill her. And then your healers, your revivers, if you have a reviver, now they got to try to find a way to kill her with lilibet, or if she just gets revived, and then they're just going to die to the amount of advantage the skill creates. It's nuts. There's very little things you can do. That's why she's the best defensive one, because if you're not able to kill her whole team in a snap, she's just going to absolutely destroy you. The next one I wanted to talk about is going to be the revivers. Honestly, all I got to say about the revivers, I know I'm not going to go as in depth as I went with these, but basically, Ruele, really good revive. Maid Chloe, I honestly think is better than Ruele. I don't know why people are sleeping on Maid Chloe. Maid Chloe just, I feel like, does more. I guess it's because Ruele gives invincibility, so it guarantees a turn. But Maid Chloe does the whole team one, so it's like, if you don't kill Maid Chloe, you have to deal with her whole team. And it's really hard to get around. And it's even if you kill, like if you bring a lilibet and you're able to kill some of the units, it sucks. I don't know. And even then, like even if she doesn't revive the whole team, she just makes it so they can't die. People are sleeping on Maid Chloe, man. I honestly, I was surprised that I don't see more Maid Chloe's at the top. She heals. She puts attack buff. She does so much, and she stuns too. Like I know it's low, but it's still like, y'all. If y'all had a 5-star and y'all went for a Ruele Light instead of Maid Chloe, I don't know. I would have gone. I personally would have gone for Maid Chloe. I just think she's so much better overall. And a lot of one of my guildies that's actually like in the legend tier right now has a Maid Chloe, and he's like wouldn't trade her for Ruele Light. But again, they're just basically there to revive. There's not much you can do. And last but not least, I am going to use him as a segment into how you can counter this meta and the units you should build for that. But this is going to be one of the biggest buffs, and I'm so happy he got it because, y'all, I was right. I got to say it. I said it in one of my last videos. If you have Basar, you got to build him. But everyone was sleeping until they buffed him to the nuttiest level. That now he's like, everyone's like, I want a Basar. And I was like, yo, I told y'all, Basar's great. And now he's extra great. So what am I talking about? So Basar, one, why he's using defense. The biggest thing why he's using defense is the third skill. It's besides Roman, it's the only other like AoE stripper that I know of that does all of the buffs. But the added benefit compared to the other ones is that he also adds cannot be buffed. And on top, that's the big thing for the defense. That's the added benefit. They're literally using mainly for that because it just stops you from getting buffs. And then he acts kind of like a Dizzy, except for an Earth Dizzy where he puts a decreased attack and decreased hit chance. Just very, very strong on a very low cooldown. Can also transfer debuffs. Just really solid unit overall for defense. And if you have the Moonlight Aura and you build them both fast enough, most slower teams cannot deal with that. They're gonna have to have a speed team. And at that point, it's just speed. There's luck attached with speed, so you're already in trouble if you're having to try to outspeed a team. But segmenting into how can you counter the meta? Whew, let me take a breather, guys. But how can you counter the meta? Basar is nuts right now. Probably one of the best units to counter the meta, especially if you have a Moonlight Araminthia. Y'all have the best offense. Like, y'all actually have the best offense, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, that is the best offense. Because what you do is you come in, you get their Basar and Moonlight Araminthia are both mages. You give them Toghel's Tome, whatever it's called. You start with four souls, or like the 40 souls, and then you can soul burn his third skill. So now you have an AoE skill that makes your targets to not be able to be buffed. So all those queens, Moonlight Queen Cecilia, useless. All those cross, useless. All those units that apply buffs, useless. Because it ignores effect resistance. Effect resistance is trash now. It's like, even immunity. It's like you can't do anything against this. Zero counterplay to this move now. No zero counterplay. There is counterplay, but it's all luck based. There's no absolute way to counter this. The only thing you could do is have the better element, so like a Charon. But even then, if you have a Charon and this hits, he's dead. Or have a Assassin Cartuja, which is a really, really solid unit, which I think is a really good choice. But they can't do anything against this. And then Moonlight Araminthia, if you soul burn her third skill, it also ignores effect resistance. So now you're guaranteed to stun everyone. So unless they have an Assassin Cartuja, you won the fight. There's very little they can do to counteract the amount of debuffs that they're going to have and the amount of things they have to deal with. Just throw in a Dizzy if you feel like it, and then just absolutely destroy them. Make them so they can't even take a turn. It's so good. The other unit even though I do say she's not that great, she is the most reliable counter for arbiter vildred, and that is going to be, where are you? Lilibet. I do have her. Oh, there she is. So Lilibet, again, guys, if y'all don't have your Lilibets, it's gonna be a rough meta for you guys. There is different weights, like with Sid. You can use Sid, and Sid is actually one of the good units, but she is just, she doesn't care about Ruler Light. That's the big part. Because there's Arbiter, Vildred, Ruler Light team comps that if you don't have a lilibet, you can't do much about what they can do. There's not a lot of counterplay there unless you have lilibet. If you have a Sid and they have a Ruler Light, unless you kill the Ruler Light first and then the Arbiter Vildred, lilibet is the one that can do that and just completely skip that part. But it's just even if her damage is nuts, there's still a chance that she'll miss because people are building it with Moonlight Dreamblade, and that's just, I think it's 20%, and then if they put in an Assassin Cartuja, it's rough. But you'll still need to build her. She's still very, very important. And last but not least, yes, for the people out there that were lucky enough to get from the Mystic Summons, I really do believe Judgment Kise is such a good option right now. Because she counteracts a lot of the things that we were talking about, and she works well with the units that we also talked about. But for offense, you're able to want if you have an auxiliary lots and you have a Judgment Kise, you're ready pretty much. As long as you have Tango's Tome to be able to get 2 souls, because you can now do the combo where you guarantee Judge Kise's first turn, soul burn her second skill, strip the buffs you need to strip, and then just cleave, because her ratios are really, really high. She's able to just absolutely cleave the team. And if you make her strong enough, she can even counter Arbiter Vildred, and it's just able to easily take a lot of these teams out, and including those revive teams, because if you have enough effectiveness on her and you're able to reduce those cooldowns, that gives you more time to try to deal with that Arbiter Vildred. It gives you more ways to be able to deal with the team. And for those tankier teams, she just absolutely wrecks them. If you're putting their cooldowns down, that means they can't take their setup turn. They are literally sitting ducks for 1 turn, and you're able to come back, defense break, and then you still have 2 other units that can do damage, and then just absolutely wreck the team. So I honestly do believe Judgment Kise is one of those units that pull for Mystics for her if you can. Don't go out and like wail on it, like don't wail. But if you do get lucky or you already have her, she's honestly, I believe, a really good candidate to be one of the best offense units in the future. But that is all I have for you guys today. My voice is running out. Whew, I haven't done a video in a while, but I will see y'all next time. Peace.